Hi, traders. Okay, let's review quickly. When I left you Wednesday was a couple of days before the NFP, and I talked about prior to that on Monday that the dollar was a sale at 107.20. The high was 107.34. This is a 50% retrace in the dollar. So I'm not looking for maybe a shade under 105, maybe to this moving average 104.5 or so, because I'm still looking for one more high in the dollar up towards that 61.8 level. Here I'll show you the weekly 109. So I still think that we're going to get a move up to here at 109. So when I translate it, I think there's a possibility that the euro could trade up towards 107. Here's your daily, maybe 107.5 before its final descent down towards 102. So again, when I look at the euro, again, we can look at fibs, right? So 101.98 is 61.8 back. We didn't quite get to the 50% level before we bounced, which was, something that we talked about. Took the dollar, got out of it at 106.30 prior to the NFP. But, thinking that there's still one more good shot up towards 107 and then trade back down towards this 102 level. And I think I'll say the same thing I said about the gold once it reached near 1800 and silver near 20.5, that I won't be talking about the short side of the euro for quite some time to come. I think this is going to be a very significant low, very significant high in the dollar. Think that Aussie could still trade lower, down towards 62.20. We'll see. Pound, I think, still after this rally could have 118 in it, back to this major support. And also, we were short yen last week. So that's something else that I covered before the NFP. I really didn't miss anything. We're in this descending triangle here. Actually, what I'd like to see in the next couple of days is some type of rally, peaking. Want to remind everyone that we have an annular solar eclipse this weekend, Ring of Fire eclipse that's never been seen ever in North America, where you have the Ring of Fire. So GAN, a lot of astronomical traders look at his eclipses as being a time of market volatility. So whichever way markets are rallying into the end of the week or into early next week, be looking for reversals. So right now, my best guess is the dollar pulls back into that eclipse, and then we rally one more time to new highs. Could work out the other way. Maybe the dollar just blows off from here and we don't get back down towards, under 105, and we just blow to new highs from here. But that's not looking like it's the case. So let's, look at the yen. I still want to be short this yen. I want to see where it's at into late this week. Again, as I'm looking for significant reversals across the board. So I want to just show you what's happening in yields. Well, let me go to the metals. They've been on fire. So, I don't know how many months I've been talking about 1800 gold, and we got down to 1810, close enough for government work. Is this the low? Could be. I did some buying in the silver around the 21 level in physical. I think, and I'm not going to trade the short side, that there still could be another push to new lows. And if you know my work, it's because of this. Look at the daily RSI reading at the low before the bounce. But now if we pull back, and I've had this blue line here forever, if we break in the next couple weeks, this blue line's actually coming in at 1770 or so. That's where I would back up the truck in gold should that happen. The shares are acting okay. They're not setting the world on fire. Here's just a quick look at GDX. Gold shares doing much better than the silver shares. So here's your GDX again. I look at this RSI and it tells me that I could see one more low. You know, I've been looking for about for about 24. So I'm still looking for that. When you look at silver, like the juniors, pretty weak. Okay, here's AG. Looks like a bear flag that's going to push down into a wedge. Um, the other one that I'm watching that had a decent week last week, but I wouldn't call it any big trip to Hollywood. Fortuna's tried to come out of it. It has come out of this wedge. So this is something else I'll be looking for if they sell off the miners into the eclipse and gold comes off. I'll be looking at that as well. WTI hasn't made much hay, but I hesitate to play the short side of WTI because now we have a war happening that most people think is going to be contained in Israel. I happen to not think so. I do believe that there will be a military conflict between Iran, Israel, and the U.S., and that the carriers are there to carry out punitive airstrikes, which, if that happens, who knows what's going to happen in the Strait of Hormuz. We could have another supply disruption to throw on top of what Saudi cuts and Russian cuts have been. So it's a no touch for me. And I do want to cover what's happening in rates because on the NFP, the 10-year peaked. Okay, so it peaked up here a little over 480. I would love to see one more high in yields, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm looking at this TLT now, and we have two drives here. We have one, we have two. It's called higher today, but I would like to see one more shot down. It's a little more clear in the 4 hour. So, we did diverge, but it was under 30. We're called about 100 higher, coming in 87.69. But if we get a sell off into this time window, looks like it's coming in around 83, low 83s. I'll probably go for this ETF triple TLT. It's called about 16 higher, same formation. And so, yields have come off. We'll see if it's long lasting, but I'm starting to think that the whole world is so bearish bonds right now. And, they've been saying to buy them for a long time because there's are huge net short positions in treasuries that they've been talking about all the way down. They go, well, how could it work? So, I think that there's still too many bears here and sovereign debt crisis. I think that there could be a nice rally in yields, a nice rally in the bond market, and that could be predicated upon want to wrap it with risk and talk about the S&Ps. If you recall and go back on my videos, I said that 4,200 was going to be the battleground. Boy, was this textbook. 42 and then tried it a couple times, and I'll admit I didn't think we were going to have this kind of power off 42, but it doesn't matter what I think. Dealing with what we're seeing here, a lot of people are now very sanguine about the market. I think they're whistling past the graveyard. That expression means, you're walking by a graveyard, you're whistling and you're confident because you're still alive, and that's not going to happen to you. So one hallmark of a bear market rally is sharp and quick, and that's what we have. And I believe between here and 44.20 that we're going to put in a lower high. I'm willing to give all this work and all this distribution a chance one more time for a sale up here, into the weekend. This does look like it's setting up into the eclipse. And it's not just because I feel bearish. I look at things like Apple. Okay, we've had a nice little bounce. But after this decline, it's only 38% back. I think up here at 180 or so, fills the gap at 81. I do think there's another leg to the downside. And if we take out 165, much lower numbers. We have Prime Day going. I think it's the second day of Prime Day for Amazon. I still think it's an ugly chart. Uh, Not much of a rally considering that we had, 15% drop in Amazon. Maybe it tries to get back into this gap area, 134, but this still looks vulnerable to me, and it's one of the magnificent sevens. Even NVIDIA, which people are now kind of banking on a new high as a layup, we could just be developing a right shoulder. Here's your left shoulder. Here's your neckline. Something like this. Right. And then if we get up towards 480, you'd have symmetry with the left shoulder. See this 480. So we'll see. May not even get up that far, but if we take out 410, we're talking about 90 bucks. We're talking about 320 here. And let me look at even one of the darlings that should be doing better than it has. And let's look at Tesla. Okay. Same type of scenario. Maybe it tries a 280 level, but I'm still not bullish Tesla. So we'll see what happens going into the eclipse, everyone. Just the takeaway is if Euro rallies up towards 107, 107.50, it's a sell. Let's see what the yen does going into this eclipse window. Perhaps this is going to set up a major top in US dollar yen. If you didn't buy gold down here, be patient. Even if this is a low, we will have a wave 2 pullback for a higher low, but I still think there's a shot for under 1800. Same in silver. For months, I've been talking about the short side of silver, and I said I would stop talking about it if it got to 2050. So we got to 2065, again, close enough for government work, but perhaps there's one more shot down in silver towards 20. Like I showed you, some of the silver miners not looking as good, so maybe that's a tell. And some nice trade setting up going into this weekend. I hope that what I'm sharing with you, that you're learning, not just looking for the calls, but understand the hows and the whys, that I'm looking at compelling trading opportunities on both sides of the market. A lot of action in our room. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and I'll see you in the room. Good hunt.